Hello there. So, let's continue with our solo campaign set in the Old North. So we've got our protagonist, Caradog. I thought a bit more about, for some reason, jackdaws came to mind. Yeah, so I think he's a skinny, sort of stringy little guy. Not weak, because he's got iron too, so he's by no means spindly and sickly, but he's skinny, skinny and wiry. Bit of a beaky nose, kind of spiky hair. He's got a bit of a corvid look to him, which, to digress slightly, sort of fits with some Celtic mythology stuff that I'm going to get into later. So on our previous session, we did a bit of rolling. We determined that his gift for magic has manifested already, but he doesn't maybe really quite know what to do with it. He's got a warband, a small warband backing him, but they're not quite sure about him, because I think he's new. I think he's a chieftain. He's a very minor chieftain. So he's got this sort of fortified manor, if you like, on this headland. It's like a reclaimed Iron Age fort, and that's where he lives. And that's probably something he's just inherited, I think, along with a small number of soldiers who he has to look after. He's got to find them sources of loot. And he's also got a village. So the village is called the headland is called Pentir Caerog, which is terrible. I know my Welsh pronunciation, but it's something like that. And Finon Pentir Caerog is like the well of the fortified headland. And I think what's now Burton, the village of Burton, is his village. And his manor, if you like, is the fortified headland. Basically a reclaimed Iron Age fort. So he's from some kind of Romano-British family, but I think he's intermarried, maybe with Irish, maybe. He's got some roots in darker, older stuff, which is why he has some magic that he doesn't really know what to do with. Now, I did some rolls about has he got a mentor in magic, and that came up a yes with doubles. So I was using Mythic Game Master Emulator for this. That came up a yes with doubles, which introduced an unexpected random event. And the event was, according to Mythic, introduce a new PC, and the descriptor to go with it was carelessness and tension. So I thought, well, what am I going to do with that? And I kind of did some more Mythic rolls to help understand something more about this new NPC, who's presumably going to be his mentor, or is going to be his route to a mentor somehow. And what I got was Bandit. So in this time and place, a bandit is probably Irish, because the Gaels were, taking advantage of the power vacuum, shall we say, and you had a lot of Irish invaders coming across the Irish Sea and trying to colonise North Wales and probably also this sort of the Wirral kind of area. So I'm thinking the bandit is probably Irish. Defend a place is probably Caradog wants to defend his own little territory. Vengeful, sneaking and unfriendly, I think that's probably just Caradog's own personality, to be honest. I don't think he's very nice. Look at his heart score. So I think what's going to happen is there's going to be the inciting incident is going to be something to do with a bandit, like a Irish bandits coming across probably in a ship, and we'll sort of take it from there. I don't think about solo role playing with oracles is you don't need to think it through to the nth degree. Yeah. So what I'm going to do then is move us on to the sort of the next bit, which is really the beginning of play, right? So let me just take a quick look at. I've got the manual open next to me. I think what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna envisage an inciting incident, which I think is going to be something to do with these bandits, right? So there are some moves that one makes at the start of a game, and I think we've got enough ideas to actually get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the move to begin a session. Okay, so the first thing is, do we have any flagged content? So this is making sure everybody who's playing is kind of safe with the sort of content that we're going to have. And I'm not going to fuss too much about that. I'm just going to be sensible about what I try and put on YouTube. This is going to be a dark sort of saga. Yeah, there's going to be horror for sure. But I'm not going to... If I were playing with other players, what I'd probably do here is a safety exercise. Now, the one I've used before successfully is called Lines and Veils. Where a line is you don't want it to appear at all, and a veil is, it's in the world but it's off stage, right? Don't think we need any of that because it's just me, and I'm going to be sensible about what I try and put on YouTube. So, okay, what's the current situation? The current situation is our hero, our protagonist, Caradog, has recently had a couple of things happen. One is they've started having what today we might call paranormal experiences. Specifically, what they've found is a stubborn person that they were trying to influence by persuasion. They kind of lost patience with this person and just imposed their will, and it worked. And that was quite disturbing. It was obviously not straightforward, normal persuasion. And the person kind of snapped out of it a few hours later and was sort of freaked out about the whole business. And it's got people in his immediate circle kind of nervous about, because, like, let's say his warband saw this happen, right? And let's give the warband, personify the warband as the sort of senior guy. The senior guy is Owen. Yeah. Owen, who's got facial tattoos. Okay. And is good with the bow and a spear. So Owen's like the lead warrior, let's say, that he's inherited from his older brother, I want to say. And he's not at all, these guys are not at all sure about the new boy, right? And particularly this business. It doesn't seem to have disturbed Owen that much, but it's disturbed the other guys. And I think Caradog's slightly worried that Owen is thinking about usurping him. So there's a bit, that's our tension, right? We've got tension. That's our tension. So let's add a connection to Owen, right? So Owen is the one he's got to bring on board. And Owen is probably formidable, and at the moment I'm just going to leave that blank. So that's a connection track. What I'm going to use that for is to track the progress of his relationship with this guy, which is going to be quite important, right? He needs this guy he needs to stay in charge in this relationship, maybe something like that, or he needs mutual respect or something. Okay, and let's give him another bond. His other bond is gonna be to his village, yeah, or his manor. I'm not quite sure his manor might be the wrong word. I need to find out what the right Welsh word for this is, but let's say his village, yeah. Let's call it his manor, but we'll change it. And how difficult, it's not how dangerous are the people of his manor, it's how much effort is it going to be to keep up. I think it's going to be dangerous, let's say, right? And let's leave it there for now. So if now let's say he's got one, he's got a couple of ticks on that one simply because he's inherited. It's part of his sort of starting situation. Maybe do I want to? Yeah, and I'll add one for Owen simply because he's the leader of a warband that the guy's got as an asset. I don't know whether that's right, but it feels right to me. He's already got some kind of relationship with both his village and villagers, and his kind of right hand man, if you like. I reckon there's 2 or 3 other professional warriors, and that's it. He might be able to drag along some farmers, but he's only got a couple of professional warriors, right? Let's say 4 or 5, maybe, including Owen. Okay, so we've sort of fleshed this out a bit more now. I want to get started on the inciting incident. So what's that? Well, it's something to do with bandits. So the question is it a ship sighting? Do they sight the bandit ship? Or basically, if not, then the bandits have already landed somewhere and he needs to go and scout them. Yeah, which might work, actually. Have the bandits already landed is going to be a question. So I'm going to use Mythic for this. I've got this nice little tool that does Mythic stuff for me. So I want to say it's likely they've already landed and he hears about it, because that fits with the sneaking and so on that we've already established. So have bandit already landed? And the answer is exceptional, yes. Okay, so what's the exceptional part? I think they've landed and they're presenting an immediate threat. So, okay, I've got it. He's in his hall and somebody brings word that some strangers have been sighted approaching the village. So he is gonna move to protect the village, and I think that lets us start our first quest move. So we begin the session. Yeah, and so I hit begin a session to roll to see what the session holds, and basically an important character is in danger. So who's the important character? Well, this is about his mentorship. Ultimately, this is about how does he acquire a mentor. So, okay, somebody in the village. Yeah, okay. His brother's still alive. maybe? No. Somebody in the village, I think, is in danger. Is it somebody in the village that's in danger? Is the person in danger a villager? Somebody important. A relative. Is it a relative of Caradox? Are they a relative? Definitely not a relative. So, let me have a think about this. It's definitely not a relative. So it's probably one of his warband needs rescuing, right? I think if it's an important character, it's one of his warband. So what he's heard is David, who's another of his warband. David is scouting these guys. David is scouting these guys, right? And our hero is going to assemble his warband, and he is going to swear an iron vow, because now we're actually starting things in earnest. So we want to swear the iron vow, and I think the vow is going to be to protect his village, and he's going to vow to protect his village. And he, of course, misses because his heart is pretty weak. So there's a significant obstacle. So I think these guys are actually now attacking the village. Yeah? Okay. So what that means is, I think, let's look at the combat moves. I think what he's going to do is he's going to try to first gain an advantage, yeah? Before he does anything else, being the sort of sneaky, cautious kind of character he is, he's going to try and secure an advantage. Yeah. Okay. So, how's he going to do that? Well, he's gonna use his wit, because that's what he's good at, right? So he's going to use wits to try and score an advantage. He's got a weak hit. So we're going to take some momentum, because we're now in progress. I think they are not yet sneaking close to the enemy, but they're observing the situation from their stockade, yeah? And they can see an attack. There's smoke and stuff in the village. There's no time to lose. So we've got some momentum, and we can take a +1 on our next move. So our next move is going to be to get close and try and gather information. So what they're going to do is they're going to slip out of. Are they really going to abandon the stockade? I think they are. What they're going to try and do is turn this around with bold action. So the first thing they're going to do is kind of sneak close, which I think is going to be gather information with Shadow. Yeah, I can't do that with Shadow. Okay, what am I going to do? I think we are going to... We got anything else that could work? So secure an advantage. All right. Let's keep going with... Let's stay in the fiction, right? So what happens is... what happens is they approach the attackers obliquely. There's 3 or 4 of them. There are more attackers. There's about... Are there a dozen attackers? Let's find out. Yes, it's about a dozen attackers, and there's half a dozen of them, and one of them's missing. Do they find the guy who's already scouting these fellas? Likely they do. Okay, so do they find the scout? No, they don't find the scout. They don't know where David is. What they're going to do then? He's got Owen, and I think there's altogether there's 5 of them. 4 of them. All right. He's got Owen and he's got 2 other guys with him. There's a dozen. So what they're going to try and do, they've sneaked in close. I think that's the weak hit. They've sneaked in close, and they're going to be able to do a +1 on. They're going to be able to do a +1 on. They're looking for a weakness, right? And okay, so they need to roll, and they're going to roll with a +1, right? And it's on wit. Another weak hit. And the clue is now, I don't think, machine or technology. Okay, so there's a guy with the attackers. There's a guy with the attackers who's got something. So this is, yeah. There's some kind of priest or shaman or something with the attackers, right? And he's got some kind of doodad which he is brandishing. It's some kind of fetish charm with, feathers and skulls and stuff. Take on momentum. All right. What we're gonna try and do, because this guy's hanging back and he looks like he might be important. I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and... Yeah, okay, so they're going to try and snatch this guy, right? That makes sense. So, yeah. So what's going to happen is this face danger or is it enter the fray? I think it's face danger. But if it goes wrong, it'll turn into a combat, okay? So they're going to face danger. He's going to use shadow because they're going to try and surprise this guy, right? And he's going to try and subdue him. Yeah, he's going to try and subdue him and basically snatch him and try and use him as a hostage. Yeah, makes sense? Right, so we're going to roll shadow. And I should have added a 1 to that. Would it have made a difference? No. We are knackered because it's an 8 and a 6 and I haven't got enough momentum. So, alright. So we make a grab at this guy. And we failed to get the drop on him. Yeah, we failed to get the drop on him, so it is now a fight. So we're going to enter the fray with this guy. That means we need a progress chart for that. So, and it's going to be fight the... Is it a druid? Fight the shaman, let's say. Fight the magic man, whatever he is, right? He's gonna be, I think he's gonna be formidable, right? And they enter the fray with him, but now he's aware of them and he's brandishing his magic doodad at them, and therefore they're gonna have to get it into it with him. They're in the thick of it, I would say. So it's iron. And they're basically trying to overpower the guy and drag him off. Yeah. Right, okay, so I'm going to burn momentum and turn that into a weak hit. So I've got some stored up momentum. I am... Right, so initially he waves whatever it is at them and chants some imprecations, and our protagonist Caradoc feels something, and he's going to use his momentum to overcome whatever weird feeling he gets a weird feeling that's going to try and stop him in his tracks, right? And whatever it is, he burns some momentum and just plows through it. Okay, so he's going to burn momentum, turn that into a weak hit. Okay, now that's a weak hit, so he gets, although he burned momentum down to 2, it goes back up because he's now attacking with momentum, right? He's got a weak hit, so on the progress track he makes 1 progress. I think this is how you do it. I mean, who the hell knows, right? He makes 1 progress on this, and he's got his sort of companions with him. How do companions work again? Yeah, I'm gonna have the warband basically just trying to, I'll treat it as secure an advantage. What I want them to do is just keep other people off me, and I will try and subdue this dude, right? So I'm going to roll secure an advantage for the warband using their strength of 4. Yeah. So how do I do that? I'm just gonna yeah, so it's preset action die, which is 4. Yeah, and roll on. Okay, so they get a weak hit. Their momentum, I need some separate tracker for them. Let's not worry about it for now. Let's stay with the fiction, right? So these guys, I'm just going to say, yeah, they're keeping it indecisive. They're certainly not decisively beating at odds of 2 to 12, but they're giving me some space to fight this guy, right? So, okay. I am going to... whatever magical thing he just did to me, I'm going to bull through it, and I am going to use my right, I wrote down the spell stuff, but I think the gist of it is I can use a spell to do pretty much any of the regular things. It's about as strong as iron, but the impact of doing it, if I pull it off, is going to be... So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and cause him distress. No, actually, I'm just going to hit him with... Am I going to hit him? Yeah, I'm going to try and knock him out with the butt of my sword. Yeah, I'm not going to try and get fancy here. Right, so I am going to therefore... I've got control of the situation, so I am going to try and strike him. Yeah, if I was not in, if I didn't have the initiative, then I'd be clashing, and we'd be like duking it out. But I think he tried to stop me with this magic doodad, and he failed. So I'm going to strike him with iron. And see how that goes. I should have added a +1. Okay. So the other one was a 10. but adding a +1 wouldn't have made any difference. So I got through to him. I have struck him. So that's another, yeah. So I do manage to belt him, but now I'm in close quarters with this guy and he's fighting back, yeah. So I'm in a bad spot, which means I'm now, does that mean I'm reacting under fire? Yes, I think so. That's what clash says. Okay, no, it's a clash. Okay, so we're fighting at close quarters. I just tried to bash him. He's snarling some stuff in my face and he's trying to do some magic to me. I don't really understand what it is, but I can feel him trying to do it. Okay, so I'm going to fight back using iron, and I want to say the fact that I've got a little bit of magic of my own should help with this. So I'm going to give myself a +1, sort of inherent magic resistance. Yeah, that's just I'm winging that, but it feels right. So I'm going to do that, give myself a +1. We're fighting at close quarters now, and ooh, that's a miss. Okay, so that's a miss. I try and maybe get a knee into him and it doesn't work, and I can feel my mental defences crumbling against whatever it is is it mental? Is it mental what he's trying to do? No, I don't think it is. I think he's trying to do some kind of, what's he trying to do? Is he trying to set fire to me? Okay, I'm going to use a random thing to try and get a clue as to what he's trying to do to me. So, combine. Okay, he's trying to make me feel it. Whatever he's doing, my guts are churning and I feel like I'm about to puke up. Do I take harm? I don't think I take harm. It's like making it really hard for me to fight him because my guts are churning up. I must pay the price. Okay, maybe I do get hurt. So let's see what pay the price says. This is meant to do a roll. So most obvious negative outcome is I fall down puking, right? So there's a roll. Okay, let's try what the oracle says. Okay, it's harm. Okay, so I take 1 harm. So that's 1 down off my health. Yeah. I take 1 harm, and I want to fight back, right? I want to fight back here. So I think I'm still clashing because I'm in a bad spot. But it's still close quarters. What's face defeat do? Okay, now. Right, so I'm going to clash again. When the cramps start hitting me and I start feel like puking and shitting myself, I think I'm going to double up a bit, and then I'm going to try and come up out of it with a sword thrust. So I've curled a bit, which gives me a bit of range to thrust. Okay, so I'm going to try and thrust. Oh, strong hit. Okay, so all right, so I master the. I mean, I think actually no, I've suffered harm there, so I've shat myself and puked, and he's sort of triumphing, but I just come up out of the crouch and basically stab him, I think. Yeah. And I'm back in control of the situation, so I've stabbed him and I'm now gonna try and stab him again. And I missed. Okay, so I get one good dig in at him. Yeah. Now I'm using the Starforged version of the rules because they're a little bit slicker. You don't actually mark hit points on your opponent here, you just use this progress track, right? So what I'm going to do is, like I say, I've managed to get one good stab into him somewhere in the middle regions, and I think what happens is he belts me over the head with, whatever the fetish on a staff was. Okay, so that's pay the price again, and I am going to let it just roll on the standard table. Okay, so all right, what happens is a friend or a companion or an ally is in harm's way. So what I think happens is one of my guys hits him from behind. Yeah. Is that what happens? That doesn't fit. I'm on the receiving end. So I think it's just I'm on the receiving end. Yeah. He hits me and it knocks me down. That's the extra harm's way. I'm on the floor and I'm at a definite disadvantage now, right? Right, I am going to try to strike back, but this time I'm actually going to use I'm a bit desperate. I can't really attack him properly. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to use how do I do this? What I want to do is hit back with magic. Yeah. So I don't want to predetermined. I want to just. I think what I'll do is I'll use edge, but add one to it because I've got a power of 2 for magic, so I'll just add 1 to edge and use that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and mess with his mind, and that doesn't work. Okay. So, all right, I failed again. I'm on the floor, and I pay the price again. Come on. Okay. So I pay the price again. This time I'll try asking the Oracle. What does the Oracle say? Okay, so that's how I ask the Oracle. Right. Okay. Something of value is lost or destroyed. Okay, so, well, the only obvious thing here is my sword. So I've lost my sword, right? I'm now fighting this guy barehanded, and he is going to basically try and hit me upside the head with his staff. Okay, so, right, which is a clash again, and I'm going to fight back with iron, but I figure I'm going to give myself a minus on this because of my situation. Ooh, yeah, okay, so the butt of his staff's going to come down on my head, but I could maybe burn some momentum. I'm going to try it. I'm going to burn some momentum to get a weak hit. So I'm gonna, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna kick out at his left. So the staff comes down. I'm gonna sort of slide out of the way. Now, I think I'm gonna get hit, but as I get hit, I kick out and get him in the shins or knees or something, which is another progress. But I also am going to pay the price again. So I'm going to just use this. Yeah. The terrain introduces a new hazard. Okay, so he's whacked me in the head, and he's done so in a way that causes me to get a face full of mud, so I can't really see what's going on anymore. Yeah, I've got like mud and shit in my eyes, and this guy's just whacking me upside the head with his stick. Did I take harm? Should have taken harm there. I don't know what's happening with the rest of my guys, but I'm losing this fight. Yeah. So I'm going to give myself -2 and roll iron. Am I being too harsh here? Maybe I'm being too harsh here. Pay the price again. Most obvious negative outcome. Blam. I'm knocked down. Everything fades to black. Okay. I have an idea about where it's going from here, so let's leave it at that for now and cut.